Warning, disaster incoming.
What's up, everybody? My name is Daniel. You know me online as Disaster Dan, and today we're going to talk about the Attack on Titan Origins of Power characters. With the Origins of Power coming out fairly soon, a couple of weeks, I thought it would be a good time to talk about my opinions on them with the very light knowledge I have of them. I haven't really dug deep into the set that much yet. And then also talk about a couple of cards I think are pretty cool with the characters on each of their symbols. So we're going to do that. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys later. Until then, let's watch the video. Alright, so we're going to start with Armament Alert. I'm not going to really go through the effects of these guys, because that would make this video way too long. Yeah, you can see it on the screen. I will say I like this character a lot. 631, Death Order. This new Outwit ability is pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure how many characters are going to really be able to take advantage of it, but this character is built for that idea. Being able to take any card from your deck is pretty insane. As you can see, I have the two symbols up here, and I have a couple cards from each symbol. Just a couple of ideas for each thing to talk about. Battle Release lets you reuse Outwit cards you've already used, because you get to reflip that foundation. Then draw one card. So if you have a risky gamble on the board and you've drawn a card, you can be Battle Release, flip this, draw another card. And you can do that through using Botan's coaching to make them draw a card, risky gamble, draw another card, play Battle Release, or you already played Battle Release, flip that card to draw another card. So now you have risky gamble, refact face down, you've drawn 3 cards. And that's pretty good. Always cool. You can just build in a bunch of random foundations. It can be Outwit cards, the stuff that your opponent's not sure you're going to have. It's just a nice little inclusion. On Order, you have Lightning Rod, which, funny enough, both these cards are 2 checks. That was not my intention, but what's really cool about this is this character's really good at playing bad tricks, because you can just take them from the deck and put them on the board, and then you can play something to add them back to hand. But yeah, your response is committing them foundations. You're at least going to commit them 2, maybe 3 if you want to commit your character. So that's an extra 3 damage on this thing, 4 damage because of its own blitz. And yeah, Lightning Rod is just a really good card. You build 2 extra cards in. You can form once per turn afterwards to blow up a foundation to then build another one in. So basically, you're only going to lose 1 foundation off Lightning Rod if you haven't destroyed it already, and that's pretty good. Alright, Bortel Uber, Living Weapon, and then his flip side, Titan Advancing. I think this character is insane. I think it's interesting that we got Mikasa in the first set, and assuming that they've had this set done for basically the whole year. I don't know when the development for these sets happened. I think it's pretty interesting that we got Mikasa in the first set, and then Attack on Titan 2 they gave us this, and we had the idea that these were both going to be okay, because I do not think this character is okay. One, his removal has no cost, so Mikasa at least had a cost of discarding cards, so you can and her only way to draw cards was she had to deal damage outside of playing Electric Moth and stuff. But this character just gets to response, play an attack, draw a card, and stun one, and then give stuff 2 damage, and then remove those cards. That's insane. Hands on the front side is also insane. Drawing 2 and discarding 2 every attack. Not just yours, but theirs too. It means you're going to see any card you want in the deck. This deck, maybe he can play a bigger than 60 card deck. And then yeah, just him flipping everything on this character is just insane. Because also his response of destroying everything except for 3 foundations, being able to essentially pseudo Godzilla you, you're gonna it says 0 foundations, you're down to 3, but it's wild. I think this is the best character in the set until otherwise. But yeah, on Death you get stuff like Enormous Axe and Luring the Hardened. These cards are just really good resource pieces that when you do flip and you destroy your foundations, you can Luring the Heart and draw a card, or you can Enormous Axe, build another one before foundations, already be a foundation ahead on your opponent. And then Bertolt, and then on his fire side, you get stuff like Brutish Swagger, which I think is really cool in this character, because when you're removing every attack, you're basically never going to have a card pull, and this card says that this is the only card in your card pull, draw one card. So if your opponent is, unless your opponent has like a So Manly or a the Mina attack that you can block with, that stuffs a card, something like that. Because he's only, like, the big thing about this is you can't even use strategic, it's the card from Girl Power that says when your opponent clears a card, they stuff a card from the top of their deck. Can't even do that against his deck because this card isn't clearing. He's removing. He's not clearing like Mikasa did. This is the only card in your card pool. You draw a card, and then also if you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, this game's stunned to you. So on either side of your character, this card can be cool because your enhance is drawing 2 automatically, so you're going to automatically have this stun to. And on the backside, you just got to play. Well, if he's the first attack you play, you've already drawn 2 cards. And it can be a 4 mid 8 on your backside. Basically, stun 2 characters, stun 3 with this response. It's just really good. Luntieras does not say cards have to be cleared. It just says when cards leave your card pool, so you're going to remove and still make things leave. So this card's still going to get -1 difficulty, so you can play your 5 attacks and then say, hey, this is a 1 diff. Hey, I can remove this one, play this one on a 0, and just keep doing that. And then every time you play that, that's a 3 mid 9 throw. And so, yeah, that's really good. Card Titan, I'm not, like, it's interesting because I see why some people think this character is really good. I'm not the biggest fan of this character. I think the enhanced commits are pretty steep, even for the form to being able to ready this card, because you still have, like, the big thing about this character is is the turn that it goes off, it's just gonna go off because it's basically what's gonna do is it's gonna play this card, play a card, command for 3 speed, restand, and then you're gonna just like do that a bunch until you can play all your walk dogs free. But like any character on these symbols are doing that with walk the dog, so I don't know if this character is like super big about that. Like I think this character saying if this attack is blocked it deals no damage is really cool. I don't know. No card draw in face. I have to see this character be played more. But we do have options on the 2 symbols. Walk the dog is on both the symbols of this character, which is like a good mesh with your character. You draw 1 card. If they've already stunned 4 this turn, it's a 4 if. You're going to stun them 1, powerful 3. I mean, Walk the Dog's played in almost all of its symbols and like everything, so it's really good. And then Deception Dagger, if you want to go like this Chaos Weapon package, be like a Toga 3, you can do that. And like stun them 2, restand your character, stun them again, play Walk the Dog. They've already stunned 3, maybe 4, depending on what else you've done. And then on order, you get like Shards the Winter, which is at the end of your string. You can, after you've stunned them a bunch, you can play this and give them a bunch of speed. But yeah, that's about much that I can say. I haven't really looked into this character that much. Like I said, I'm not a big believer of it, but maybe might have my mind changed. Connie Springer, I think this character is super cool. I think the fact that he is clearing cards as well, but he has a cost to it, and he's on air, which is fun. He gets to play like a pseudo Mikasa, but instead of discarding cards, you're just spending momentum, so you want a lot of momentum gain. So on air, you get stuff like, well, air and chaos, because it's attuned, you get high velocity slice, saying, hey, this is the only attack in your card pool, gain a momentum, which means you can clear itself to play the next one and stuff like that. Then the deadlock is like it gets a higher stun depending on your momentum, which is really good. One for all full cowling. This is a staple on Mikasa because it cleared a bunch, so this card's pretty good in this too. Yeah, I mean, 1 speed, 1 damage for each card you clear. As long as you can stack a bunch of momentum, you can make this card pretty big too. On Chaos, you do get cool things like card pull to work. So, like, if you spin the momentum and it's card pull to work, you get another momentum for that. So, you basically cleared a free attack, making his cost basically negligent for that 1 attack. Earth Beast Golem, I don't know if this card's going to actually be played in this character, but it's super fun because you're going to give both players momentum, and then it's going to get damage for each momentum they have, or you both have. So basically, it's a 5 mid for 5 starting out, and you get to clear it immediately after. once you play your next attack. Alright, next is Eren Yeager. It's a 630 fire order. I'm a big fan of self-mill, so I really like this character a lot. He is Fury focused, which is pretty cool, pretty interesting. It does kind of like lock him. He's also a Titan character as well, because he gets 1 speed for each Fury, 1 damage for each Titan. I think that's a weird, interesting mix. That's not something that was like in AoT 1. We're caring about these two keywords together. It's really just in this set when we got the Zeke Yeager stuff and we got his 2-diff backup and everything. But yeah, he's pretty cool. The fact that he flips without having to be at 9 foundations. He flips when you have 25 or more cards in discard pile and takes damage. Oh, after an attack deals damage, so it's either after you or your opponent takes it. I think is really cool. I think that makes him a little bit more controlling than like other Titan characters, because you can get yourself to 25. There's not always a chance you get to the point where either player has 9 foundations. And yeah, then his backside is crazy. Like every attack getting 4 damage is really good, and then you get to basically say the next card's going to pass and give it 3 speed. And so yeah, on fire we have things like Ignited Arrow, which is a really good Fury move for this character because it's also a self-mill card. When it's blocked, discard cards until you reveal the next attack. So you play this, you mill your 3, and let's say you see a Titan card, or you say, okay, here's this 2i for 5. Block this. I'm gonna mill until I see another attack, and then like Revels in a Masterpiece is just mill 1 for damage, just another extra mill. Basically, this is the same spot for like any mill card on fire. The Endeavor Zero Diff is also really good. It's a mill 1, they mill 1. Just anything that helps you get to this 25 so that you can get to this. Because when you get to the backside and everything has 4 damage, it's going to be scary. On order, we have a lot of Endeavor Face around here. Flash Fire Fist Hell Spider is just really good. Mill 2, your attacks get a speed. If you've cycled this turn, or cycled this game, your attacks get 1 damage. So basically, if you're on your backside and you've cycled already, this is a 4 high for 11. And it says, 4 high for 11, and then everything is getting 1/5 after this, which is really good. Intimidating Command. This is probably this is just another cute card I think is cool for this character. This is a Fury, so this can be pulled off like Grisha's backup. It's a 7 diff, 7 low for 7. On the backside, it's a 7 low for 11 that says commit all to the foundations. So like if you want to like focus on this, hey, I'm gonna build a bunch of like spam and then just throw 1,000,000 damage at you, or you can just commit the 2 diff you have on board to play this card. You can like really take out most of their answers while continue to go in, because you are going to want to be a character that wants to play like a bunch of attacks. And like you have the one like way out to like stop like a Keiko's Aid because of your character's ability. But that's also dependent on the use Keiko's Aid. You can this is another way of like being like, hey, I don't want to deal with Keiko's Aid. I want you to use your fighting controls right now. I want to deal with Incredible Display because I might have a response later. And stuff like that. So just a cool idea that I thought for him. Owen Smith of Strategic Mind, 534 Air Death. I think this character is really good. I think this character is going to be best in the people that like are really good at playing very long games. I think this character, being like looking at the top 2 cards of your deck, has already been proven in this game to be like very good. Being able to stack them is really good. And then like after Foundation's destroyed, being able to do this, and it's not once per turn. Doing this every single time you destroy Foundation can get real egregious. Once per turn, build a top, and also it's enhance. Is also just really good. We have previous characters that have just built a card and they've been really good. So building a card and getting a stat out of it is also just is very big. A couple of cards. Air on Fodge and Flurry, it gets 3 speed off of this character, so it's going to become a 6-man for 7 because you're going to give it 3 speed. and then it's going to get momentum, and then you're going to EX3, and then you're going to get a momentum. So 6 mid for 7. It's not really helping your response part, but that's fine. This is just a good 4-diff move. Grenadier Bracers, this is, if you have consistent foundation destruction, this card's going to make it to where you have stuff that's big. Now imagine you have stuff destroying before Fodge and Flurry, and you've made the 6 mid for 7, now a 6 mid for 12. That's a pretty scary 4-diff that you've just played. And in the entire time, if I'm destroying foundations, I'm looking at the top 2 cards. I know I'm passing everything. I know what I'm checking next. I know what I'm playing next. On death is the card destruction like symbol. So like you have a lot of things that go with this character. Deterioration Palm. Destroy your face down, committed, whatever you want to do. Build the top card of your deck face down. So basically get a free foundation back, and then also be able to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Since this is cost, you're going to respond to the cost, and you can look at the top 2, see if you see like an outwit card or something, and be like, I want to build this card with a Deterioration Palm, and then stack the other card at the bottom. That's stuff you can do. The second enhance doesn't really matter that much. It's good if it comes up. The deck deals damage. Your rattle has 8 more, they destroy 1. I mean, you can make this a 6 mid for 5, so it might not be blocked when they have 8 more foundations, but you're here for the first part because it's just a good like consistency piece with your character. And then Trace Eyes is just crazy. You get to destroy a Ray Foundation to pay the cost for this Echo. So and then you Echo, discard 1 momentum, but instead of discarding momentum, you're now destroying for the cost. So you're going to destroy for the cost and look at the top 2, make sure you pass this, play it. I get that this is low damage, but we are on a symbol. Like, this is on both symbols, Grenadier Bracers. So, you are on either symbol can, like, build up the damage to make this thing scary. And being able to look at your deck while also playing an Echo for free is pretty good. I think this character is going to be sick, and the people that, like, want to play... I want to have, like, all the advantage and want to know exactly how the game's going to turn out. I think that this character is going to be insane in those people's hands. On Zoe, 4 Eyes, 721 life death. I think this character being on death is pretty crazy. Sacrifice 2 foundations to ready this card is, man, is just something. On death, you get things like Twisting Inferno. Since you were gonna give you're gonna give an attack 3 damage. Why not give it to a Twisting Azure? And Combined Firepower is because you get to play the Death Casino deck with this character. Because you are destroying foundations, which means you get to destroy the things that remove themselves for cost to do other things. Yeah, I mean, you're going to do the Death Casino stuff. So Combined Firepower gets to do the thing with your character. You're a 7-hander 21 that's going to say, hey, here's 3 damage on my Twisting Azure. Deal with it. Oh, you dealt with it? Cool. I'm going to now blow up things. Respond with Combined Firepowers, play my Twisting Azure, make it 7 damage anyway. And then, like, on life, like, the life symbol for her is a little bit more weird because she's not really caring about what life is doing, which is, like, she's just playing her own game. I'm just giving damage and then rewriting this card. But you do get, like, to have, like, some cool free builds in. So, like, Command Pigeon Flock can say, hey, I'm going to build in a card. And then Taster says, hey, I'm going to build in a 0-diff. So here's my 2 foundations. You can now destroy the Anj. Another cool thing you can do on life is you do get to play, like, the cool Demon Plants loop that with, like, if you commit it and give your ally, say your ally does not count towards progressive this turn. So build in Demon Plants, commit it, say Command Pigeon Flock doesn't count, and then Hanzoe can blow up Demon Plants and restand itself, and then you can play another Command Pigeon Flock, do it again, or if you have 2 counters with Tastier, if you can build it in, or 3 counters with Tastier, if you can build it in, do that, and keep doing that, and just say, hey, here's all my, here's a bunch of 6 to 8 damage moves, they all don't count, and I keep just building in this free foundation, so I'm making my ability like less of a cost. And then on above symbols, you also get stuff like Shapeshifting, Removal Shapeshifter, which says when you destroy a foundation, response mill 1. If it's a 5 check, you gain a life. So you do get to gain a bunch of health while doing all this too. Yeah, it's a really cool hacker character. Historia Rise Secret Identity, 530 life order. So as of currently, until they change something, to my knowledge, face downs count as different named foundations. Which means if you have something that builds a face down, you should get a wall counter and gain a health. So something like you have Lightning Rod that says, hey, I'm going to build in 2 face downs. Well, you're going to respond. You have one response window. You're going to respond because you've built a face down. There's not another card with this name because they're all different names. I get a wall counter and I gain a health, which is really good. And then you have stuff in order as well as like Hacker Extraordinaire to draw you a card, which is like another +1 or -1 damage if that matters. And then on life you get stuff like Cancer Creation Strike. Build another. You can remove a card, build another card, get a counter. If you want to go with like this Commander-ish style where you're playing a lot of like maybe 1s and 2-ofs and not playing a lot of multiples because you want to get the most value out of Historia, Researching the Answer does make her a 6-hander. If you have 6 face-up foundations with exactly 1 copy, it does count itself. So you technically just need 5 other cards that have different names that are face-up. And then you become a 6-hander doing all this. So I think this character is going to be really cool. I think there's a couple of options you have with this character. Drawing cards is just really good in this game, and she's basically drawing for free. The Tenacious response makes it to where your turn 1 build is going to be crazy because you get to go build 4 different cards, get 4 counters, and then next turn I get to be a 7-hander, which is fun. And she's just going to gain a lot of health because the more you destroy foundations and rebuild in and flip cards and stuff like that, the more she's going to have like the ability to gain more health. So if I decide my board's flipped for some reason, I build 5. Well, now my board flips, I gain another 5 and get another 5 wall counters. I think this character is going to see a good amount of play. I'm definitely interested in playing her. And, Gene Kirstein, Dependable Competitor, 722 Air Fire. I'm not the biggest fan of this character. Particularly because, if the response said, when an attack deals damage, I would be more for this character. But the fact that you're a 22 health character that has to take damage, feels real bad. And then, your buff thing, I don't know why it says non-action. It should have just let you do actions. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to play Seething Anger and get a damage, get the potential of an extra damage off of it because of it. It just feels like they limited this character a lot when a lot of these characters in this set are very strong, and they just picked and choose which ones they wanted to make not as good. Which this is uncommon. I guess they wanted this character to be less powerful because this is going to be a draft character. But if this response was just either attack or any attack dealt damage, I'd be more for it. But you do have on fire, you have Barrier Shield. So if you take that 5 damage move on your first move and you respond to, hey, here's Barrier Shield, don't attack me again, please, or I'm going to Barrier Shield your attack. It has a potential to make them stop. And then you also get stuff like Resigned, which you can play in your card pool. And then with your character, play another attack, and then your character will say, hey, you've played two non-actions this turn. You're going to get a damage, you're going to get an extra damage, and then this card's going to remove itself. You're going to get another 3 damage. Which is really good. I mean, it's a cool little thing. And then you still have the stuff from set 1, AoT, which is Reconsider, or what was the other card? Confronting Gene. The one that removes itself to give your attack 3 damage if you play it. That's another way to getting this enhanced a little bit bigger. And then on Air, Haikyuu and Mirage, this is just because it's very cheap, so you can go a bunch of a bunch of foundations and then say, hey, here's this. Hey, I've played 6 non-action cards this turn. This card's going to get 1 damage and then another 3, so it's going to become a 7 damage move. block it. And yeah, I mean, and then like Genkai's Guidance is another card that says, hey, you dealt damage to me, please stop, or I'm going to remove your next attack and you're not going to be able to do anything with it. So that's pretty cool. Again, man, I don't know. I don't see this character being real big. Again, like 7-hander 22 that has to take damage is really rough. If he was like a 6-hander like 29 or even like a 5-hander 34, this would be less scary, obviously. But this is what we got. So yeah, Kenny Ackerman, Chaos Death. I think this character is crazy. I think all your range and weapon attacks in 1/1 is already really good. Being Chaos and Death, meaning you're the best weapon symbols that's currently in the game, except for like Order, is really good. And then your response is not locked to anything. It just says non-throw. And drawing 2 or making your opponent discard 1 is losing 3 health is really good as well because it can kill them. But meaning like your 4 damage move if they're at 7, well now they can't. That 7 they have to block. Yeah, I mean he just has a lot of really good text on this card. He's a 631, so he's a beefy aggro character. So yeah, on both your symbols you get Deception Dagger. You get to do a weapon package that just says, hey, my stuff has stun 2, and then my next attack's gonna get stun 2. I mean, we talked about this card earlier. It's just really good in this guy. And if it deals damage, you get to say they discard 1 and lose 3 health. I mean, there's not much else you can say about it. This is now like an 9 damage move because you get 1 damage with it because it can kill them. And then like on Chaos, if you want to go like a more ranged version, Vast Hybrid Kraken is just a really good range move that you get to play. And on Death, with the more range stuff, you get to play Legend Tales Player. You might still play this card even in a weapon package Deception Dagger deck because this card's also really good. It's a 4 mid-5 in your character that stuffs a card in the card pool and makes them get rid of a card to draw another card. So a known card for a random card can be the difference between this card doing 0 damage and 8 damage because of your response. Yeah, I think this character is pretty cool, pretty aggressive. I want to block everything he's throwing at me. Levi Ackerman, Humanity Strong Soldier, 632 Order. He has like the cool part of Deku and Inasa's enhance ability. Commit 1 Foundation. It's more Deku than Inasa could say anything. Commit 1 Foundation. This attack gets 3 speed or 3 damage. So instead of just giving, he can give 3 speed or damage, which is pretty cool. It makes him flexible. If you don't need the speed here, you can just keep throwing damage to make these things threatening. And then his response is pretty good. Non-throw, clearing a card, and then the check value of the card making it -X. So if you wanted to play like a Titan list, you can do that because it will say, hey, you lose 4 health instead of 3. And it also can kill you. It does not say it cannot reduce them below 1. So this is another thing of, hey, if my 9 damage move deals, it actually is doing 12 to you. And that's pretty good. On air, you have Fajin Flurry. You give it 3 speed off your character's face, which means this card's basically an auto-include. Because, it's a 6 mid for 7 now. And it's not a weapon, but like 6 mid for 7 guarantees that you keep a momentum. That it gives you another momentum for it. It's pretty good. It's 7 damage. They kind of want to block it. Maybe they don't. But if they don't block it, maybe the Walk the Dog I play is going to be a 9 low for 9. That's going to actually be like a 9 low for 12. Because of when I clear it from my card pool. So it's just a good card telling them to say, hey, I have this. What are you going to do about it? And then on Order, you want to get damage through because you want to clear and like burn them. Ice Execution's a weapon on Order. It's really good. Commit all copies of a card. Commit all their answers. Here's all your Keiko's Aid gone. Here's all of The speed hate card I don't want on the board gone. Hey, I'm going to give this now 3 speed. And then you still get Walk the Dog in order because, you get to... All the best weapon symbols have... are on... All the best weapon characters also have all the best Walk the Dog character symbols. Or all the Walk the Dog symbols. Again, another aggressive character. Like, he's going to have to, find draw because, he is just a 6-hander with no draw in the face. But on air, you get stuff like Heroic Passion when it's committed for cost, draw a card. So 3 speed, draw 1 card, get a momentum off of Fudge and Flurry is really good rate. Another character I really want to block everything against because his ability to burn me to death scares me. Mikasa Ackerman, Protective Friend, 630 Air Life. So, her enhanced revealing 2 weapon cards is such a steep cost. I'm already a 6-hander that does not draw. I do get to add a card if I deal damage, and if the top card of my deck is a weapon, I get to add it. So I may get an extra card off of my face. But being a character with nothing on face that draws me a card naturally, that's guaranteed, and saying, hey, I'm playing this card, so I'm a 5-hander, so I have 5 cards in hand, and I get to show you 40% of my hand to give 2 or minus 2 speed, is way too steep. It's just way too steep. And then, the response being so conditional. I don't know why it couldn't just be add 1 weapon from your discard. Maybe that would have been too good. But it's also, not once per turn, so I guess, you could have made it once per turn and said it could have been from discard. And then that would have at least made it a little bit better. But just revealing 40% of my potential 5-card hand, if that's all I have, I can't, against my opponent, if on my opponent's turn, I have to keep 2 cards in my hand, and they both have to be weapons, or or my character has no defense. And this is really rough. So on Air and Life, you do get a lot of good weapons. Life gives you dual kneel lunge. They may not want to block this because it's going to leave anyway. And then if it does hit, you get to reveal. If the next card's a weapon, add to hand. And then Finger Daggers is just a weapon that can draw you a card if it deals damage. I can reveal 2 weapons out of my hand and make it a 5 mid for 6. And if it deals damage, draw a card, then reveal a card. And if it's a weapon, draw another card. So you can get a little extra advantage from that. On Air, you have things like Cage of Hell, which is your next weapon attack gets plus 3 speed and plus 2 damage. If you're going to play this character, you're going to be really dependent on your weapons doing a lot of things on themselves, because there's a chance your character is not going to always be available to do its abilities because they might block, or you might not have 2 weapons to show, or maybe you don't want to show them 2 weapons. But it's stun 1. It gives your next one stats. They may not want to block this because it is a 0 for 2, and they have to waste a block to block 2 damage. You can potentially give it 2 speed. Be like, hey, maybe if you have a 3, maybe you have a 2 or a 3, and you check a 3, you have to commit something for this, and it has stun 1, and then it's going to go to your momentum at the end phase anyway. So they might be inclined to say, I'm just going to take the 2 damage and hope you don't show a weapon, because this card's going to go to momentum whether I do anything to it or not. And then Walk the Dog. Walk the Dog is just going to be, hey, it's a weapon on this character's symbol, so you're going to play it. Reiner Braun. He's a 617. That flips and then is still 617. He's a Chaos Fire. This is another cool Titan character that has a cool, unique way of flipping. So he says when you lose the game due to health being reduced below 1, instead of dying, losing the game, you get to flip him and go back to maximum health. So this character is technically 34 health, but you have to go from 17 to 0 first, then you go back up to 17, then you have to go back to 17 to 0. So it has a little bit of a Ghidorah defense, where it's kind of sneaky. Hey, I'm at 5 health and your character's doing 8, your attack is doing 8. Well, it's actually just gonna lose 3 damage because I'm just gonna take the 5 and then go back up to 17. And then he's another self-mill character. He has a little bit more. I would say harder to do than Aaron, because Aaron can just make his attacks be the reason why he's gaining a bunch of speed and damage, and you can just play a bunch of attacks. That you can just stick to his keywords and be there. This is saying you have to have different card types, which is a little harder because typically, you're going to have attacks and you're going to have foundations. But like, so for example, like if you don't want to mill City Rampage, you want to City Rampage in your hand, you want to play it. But I guess this gives you a little bit of advantage of discard. Like if you do mill it, you get a little bit of advantage off of it, and then he gets more off of it if he's cycled for the game. Knott's Flask is just a really good asset in general. On your backside, you do say you care about stuff in stage instead of what's in your discard now, because you're removing cards from your discard for 1 speed, 1 damage, and then it's for every card in your stage. So Knott's Flask gets to be on the board, and then you get to say, hey, this card is giving me an extra 1/1, and then I can commit it for an extra 3. So now my 1 Knott's Flask is making it 1/4. And then obviously you're going to have foundations on the board, so it's going to be 2/5. So now, like, you can you can make whatever attack you want on your turn be 2/5, and then also if you've cycled, get a attack back. And then real good defense of like your first attack gets -5 damage, which is really cool. That means basically the first attack's going to be blanked, unless they give it more stats. And then on fire, Luster Battle on Void of Conflict, these are just really good for your front side because you are a self-mill character on the front side. When you mill these things, they do things. So you get to play an action that's going to give you one damage, and then you get to remove it to give another 2 damage. So for just playing this extra different card type in your deck, you've now given something an extra 3 for doing it, which is cool. And Lust Battle just makes your stuff hard to block. You don't get speed before you cycle, so this kind of helps you do speed gain while still not having cycled for the game. Sasha Blouse, Food Fanatic. 630 Chaos Life. So this character, I actually think this character is very cool. Potato was already like a funny card that people wanted to play. This character unironically makes that card very good. Adding one card with difficulty 1 to your momentum is just good. To draw 1 card, basically I'm saying, hey, I'm going to get rid of this committed 1 diff to send to my discard, send to momentum, draw 1 card. If I happen to have sent an asset, draw 2 cards. So my assets are being very advantageous to my strategy, making me want to play a little bit more assets, which is really cool because it means you get to play your game a little different than other people. Like we have stuff like Mimic that's like, hey, I'm playing a lot of assets because my assets are helping me check things. She's saying, hey, I'm playing a lot of assets because I'm drawing a million cards because I'm drawing a lot of assets. And then she can give damage equal to her momentum or speed. And that can be cool. Discarding a card is a pretty steep cost early on if you only have like 1 momentum. But once you've stacked up a bunch of momentum, discarding 1 for 4 or 5 damage is pretty good. 4 to 5 speed. On Chaos and on Life, you get Gold Toots Imperial. Blocking with this 1 diff asset, then building it in because you blocked with it. And then the next attack, saying, hey, I'm going to send it to the card pool. Send it to momentum to draw 2 cards. Is just really good value out of the card you blocked with. Knott's Flask is always going to be good. Once you've gotten to like the point where you feel like your Knott's Flask is going to be hurting you, so if you think you're going to have to use the last boost counter, you can just say, hey, I'm going to put this momentum and draw 2 cards. And if you have a way to getting it out of your momentum, maybe you can rebuild it. On Chaos, you have options to do that. There's cards that can just grab stuff from momentum, like Dark Tournament Looms or something like that, so you can play it. On Life, first I'm going to talk about Fodder Flurry. Again, this is a character that prints a momentum, which means this card is not as... It's a 3-mid for 7. If you can find other ways of giving it speed, it may not have room. I think the card is cool. But you do make it like a 4 for 7 with your character's ability. But it's mostly because like you have a use for your momentum without losing the momentum, basically. I'm not entirely sure on its inclusion yet. I just think it could be cool. Tasty Riff is a card I want to talk about because this is the idea I have for this character. Is Tasty Riff can build anything once it has a counter that's a 1 diff. It doesn't have to be a foundation. It can be an asset. So I can go, hey, play my first attack. I'm going to put this foundation in my momentum. I'm going to use something like, not a foundation, Gyro's base or something like that, an asset to momentum. Use Gyro base that I have on the board. Discard momentum to get 2 counters. Play Tasty Riff. Replay that asset. And now I've had the asset again for the next turn when I want to draw 2 more cards. And then also, like, you discard a card to give it speed or damage, which is good. You can make it a 6 high for 3, and you discard a card, which means your discarding down to hand size is going to be less of a problem because you're going to have less cards in hand. You may just draw back up the hand size and be fine afterwards. But yeah, he can basically being able to build all your 1 diff foundation, 1 diff assets is just really good. Build in your soups, build in your potatoes, build in your Gyro's base, build in your gold tips if you want to, if you're going to play that. There's a bunch of options. If you want to go with the My box full of babies, because this is a tech, so this does get 1/1 from, or is it 1 damage? I can't remember what box full of baby stats are. But it gives it stats off of it because this is a tech. So yeah, that's a cool option. I think this character is really fun. Don't know about her competitiveness, but I think she has a lot of cool things she gets to do. I just like seeing characters that use the non-conventional way of playing the game to play the game. And then our last character is Zeke Yeager. 534 Fire Life transforms to a 634 Fire Life. That is not a typo. This character goes up a hand size when he transforms, which is cool. It's a nice little fun idea that they've given him. I am not the biggest fan of this character. I'm just just to point out. Not every so they've given us a bunch of cheap backups, which is cool. So like you can make it to where if you want to build up a bunch of cheap backups, you can do that early, so you can draw the 4 cards. But if you're building backups, you're not building foundations, and this character does nothing with backups outside of playing them, and then using them to draw a card so you can flip your character, and then it's very weird discarding attack for a backup and then discarding a backup on the backside to add a range attack. It just makes him a little awkward. I wish he did something more with backups to want to have them on the board, because I don't think just playing the backup is good enough. I don't think just playing Small Titan is worth playing Small Titan. I wish he had something like Hanj, where Hanj is playing them, but is also using them as foundations to pass checks and getting speed off of it. This is, in my opinion, the worst character in the set. Which is fine. Like, the character not every character needs to be a banger home run. And he still has some fun stuff. So on Fire and Life, you get Beast Titan's Call, which is like his card. Discard backup to play this, and then you get to build a bunch of backups, or discard backup to add this to play it. Or if you're on your front side, you can just play it. Say, hey, here's a 6 up for 8. If you don't block it, I potentially see the four backups I need, and I get to just immediately flip over, which is cool. And then for the turn he flips over, he has a lot of cards in hand because he's going to draw 4 cards. That's going to be so if he has 4 backups and he just starts his turn, he just becomes a 9-handed for a turn, which is a nice advantage for that turn. I just don't think it's enough to go on. And Fire, you also got electromagnetic bullets. If you keep getting backups, you can keep adding this card back to hand. This does become like a 5 high for 8 flash move in your character, because this is a stack ability to give your stuff 2/2. And yeah, so it's just a nice little 4 diff move. You can just add back to hand. Flipping Foundation is not really that bad of a cost because if it does 8 damage, it's definitely worth flipping a Foundation for. On life, you can keep adding back Nezri Wave, which means if you keep getting momentum, if you find ways to get momentum, you can keep adding this back to keep stunning 3, which can be really good if you want to keep playing your Beast Titans calls, because you are going to try to discard a backup to add these back to play them more, potentially. So stunning them 3 can make this to where this is a little bit more threatening. You may just want to use the momentum to give this EX3, but you don't always have this in hand, so this is just another redundant piece to use momentum. And for every time they block, you get 2 extra damage on it. And, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not a believer in this character. Somebody's got to show me an insane Zeke build for me to be like, yeah, this character is insane. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, being 634, at least he's not Beard Titan. He has abilities on his face, right? That'll be it. Thanks for you guys for watching. I probably started a lot. This is a very long video and talked about a lot of things. I think the set is like a lot cooler than AoT 1, and that's nothing against AoT 1 because I actually liked Battle for Humanity, but I just there's more characters in this set that makes me want to like build more decks. Set 1, it was like, hey, I want to build Beast Titan. I'm kind of done there. Now it's like, hey, I want to build Historia. I want to build Armin. I want to build Sasha. Like, those are all super cool ideas that I like. They're just going around my head. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I see you guys later. Until then, bye.